Yeah, I'd retire at the end of the year if I had to do that every week for sure. So
I retired at the end of the year trying to do that. That is what Denny Hamlin said after finishing 5th at Iowa Speedway with almost no brakes in his Toyota. Coming from most drivers, that line would be a joke. Coming from Hamlin, it is something else entirely. Because his contract with Joe Gibbs Racing runs through 2027, he has already said it is his last. And at 45 years old, he is the oldest full-time driver in the NASCAR Cup Series. Meanwhile, 2311 Racing, the team he co-owns, watched all 3 of its cars fight the exact same brake failure, and its lead driver crashed out on lap 4. With 3 races remaining before the postseason, Denny Hamlin leads the championship standings by 103 points over Ty Gibbs. The driver who won at Iowa Speedway on Sunday, August 9th, 2026, he has 64 career victories. His deal with Joe Gibbs Racing expires at the end of 2027, and he has repeatedly described it as the final contract of his driving career. What unfolded at Iowa Speedway was the points leader absorbing the worst mechanical weekend of his season at the moment in the calendar when errors are most expensive. The trouble began Saturday in practice at the 0.875-mile oval. Denny Hamlin made 2 runs, and on both the brake pedal dropped to the floor and lost all pressure. His second run lasted 3 laps because the brakes failed after the second one. Asked whether he expected an overnight fix, his answer was blunt. "Yeah, I hope so," said Hamlin of an overnight fix. Certainly can't race like it currently is, for sure. The frustrating part was that the car appeared competitive before the failure took hold. Not ideal. I thought, the first 5 laps when I went out and everything was cool, everything was okay, I thought the car had decent speed in it. It had a good balance to it, certainly better than what we've been here in the past. But unfortunately, I just didn't get more practice than that. It started fading from that point. The weekend was disorderly across the field. Practice produced multiple handling problems, and Chase Elliott wrecked during the session. In qualifying, Brad Keselowski backed his car into the fence. Denny Hamlin completed a lap but limped his progressive Toyota Camry to a 29th place effort, a result caused largely by the brake issue rather than the speed of the car. The reason this mattered so much at this particular racetrack comes down to geometry. At many venues, brakes come into play mainly on pit entry, and a driver can turn a competitive lap without leaning on them. At a short track measuring 0.875 miles, brakes are structural to every lap. A driver needs them to carry the car deep into the corner, settle the platform, and make the car rotate through the center. Without pressure, there is no reliable way to control where the car ends up on entry. Denny Hamlin put it plainly. You can't get into the corners deep and you can't race. Obviously, you've got to have both pedals on a short track. So the accurate description is not that his car was slow, he was estimating the outcome of every corner entry, and the race ran 350 laps. This was not one car's problem. During Saturday's sessions, Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Chase Briscoe experienced significant brake issues, and all 3 2311 Racing entries dealt with varying levels of the same concern, including Riley Herbst in the number 35 car. Denny Hamlin confirmed the scope himself. "Yeah, I don't know what the rule is on brakes and safety and stuff like that, but us, the 19 and the 35, none of us had any brakes." Chase Briscoe's situation appeared the most severe. Crew chief James Small revealed that the number 19 Toyota's brake pads were essentially destroyed during Saturday's running. That created a rules trap with almost no exit. Under NASCAR regulations, teams cannot simply replace brake pads. The supplier, PFC Brakes, must determine there is a defective product and notify NASCAR directly, and that had not happened before Sunday's race. Teams were permitted to bleed their brakes, but beyond that, their legal options were extremely limited. According to motorsport.com, the brake issue stemmed from setup choices made within the Joe Gibbs Racing and 2311 Racing Technical Alliance as the team searched for additional speed ahead of the NASCAR playoffs. The failures trace back to a deliberate push for performance at exactly the wrong time. Among the affected organizations, Tyler Reddick reportedly appeared best positioned entering Sunday, while Riley Herbst faced the biggest concern once the race began. Bubba Wallace's team was believed to be cautiously optimistic it could still race competitively. Then, Sunday morning made things worse. Less than an hour before the start, Joe Gibbs Racing confirmed the number 11 Toyota would start from the rear after the team changed its cooling unit before the green flag. The team also changed brake rotors. Because those adjustments came after qualifying and were unapproved, NASCAR rules required the car to drop to the back. Denny Hamlin had qualified 29th and would now line up behind the entire field without having been involved in a single on-track incident all weekend. Crew chief Chris Gale acknowledged the team was not certain the change would work, saying it was 50-50 whether the adjustment would both get the car to the finish and allow it to remain competitive. He was not alone. NASCAR announced Sunday afternoon that the number 6 car of Brad Keselowski at RFK Racing, the number 9 car of Chase Elliott at Hendrick Motorsports, and the number 11 car of Denny Hamlin at Joe Gibbs Racing would all start from the rear after unapproved adjustments. A separate penalty story ran alongside it. 2 teams failed pre-race technical inspection on Saturday afternoon. The number 60 RFK Racing Ford of Ryan Preece and the number 34 Front Row Motorsports Ford of Todd Gilliland each failed twice. Both car chiefs were ejected for the balance of the weekend, and both teams lost the ability to select pit stalls. Car chief Jerry Cook was ejected from the number 60 team alongside number 34 car chief Joe Mara. The race delivered an immediate blow to 2311 Racing. 4 laps in, the rear of Tyler Reddick's car slid entering turn 1. He ran into Eric Jones before hitting the wall and finished last in the 36 car field. He took full responsibility. 100% that was on me, Reddick said. It's something I don't normally do, make those kinds of mistakes. Just gut-wrenching on a lot of levels. I thought we kind of figured out what we needed to do for the race today and made a killer mistake earlier. That extended a difficult stretch for a driver who began the year dominating. Tyler Reddick won the first 3 races of the season and 4 of the first 6, with 5 victories overall. He has now recorded 4 finishes of 30th place or worse in the last 6 races. Denny Hamlin went the other direction. He had more brake problems during the race, not fewer, yet reached 6th by the end of Stage 2 and finished 5th. His description became the defining quote of the weekend. I just had white knuckles every lap. Not knowing where my car was going to land when I got in the corner, Hamlin said. That was a crazy race to have to do it the whole time without, but you've got to do what you've got to do, and the team did an amazing job. I would take that day 100 out of 100 times. He gave a similar account elsewhere, wire to wire every lap. Obviously not knowing where I was going to land when I got into the corner, he added that was a crazy race. Had to go the whole time with that, but you got to do what you got to do. Then came the observation from his team owner that framed the entire day. I've never seen Denny that exhausted, Joe Gibbs said. I think he drove his heart out. That returns the story to the retirement line and why it is not a throwaway remark. Denny Hamlin is genuinely planning to leave. He explained his reasoning after winning at Michigan International Speedway earlier this season on the post-race show on Prime Video when Dale Earnhardt Jr. pressed him on whether he intended to step away. I don't know. The weeks are a little tougher, Hamlin said. I feel as though there's 3 things that happen. You lose your eyesight, you lose your reaction, and your body hurts. The hurts are there. It's there. During the week, I'm not recovering as quick. But the other 2 things are sharp. I want to go out like this. It's a fantasy land to do it, but right now the mathematics support that thinking. With his victory at Pocono Raceway, he moved to sole possession of 9th on the all-time wins list, passing former teammate Kyle Busch. 8th belongs to Dale Earnhardt, a 7-time champion with 76 victories. Denny Hamlin sits at 64 and has said the gap is not realistically closable. Think about it like this too, Hamlin said. If I can win 1 more and put myself in 9th alone the next jump, I'm not going to get there. So what am I doing? His caution is shaped by what he has watched. Jimmy Johnson won 3 times in 2017 following his 7th championship, then failed to win again over the final 95 races of his full-time career. Richard Petty and Darrell Waltrip both went winless in their final 8 seasons, and Darrell Waltrip had to buy his way into a race at Charlotte Motor Speedway when he failed to qualify on speed. Richard Petty admitted he should have stepped out sooner. The longer we run, the slower I got, Petty said. I should have seen it coming enough to say I don't need to be doing this. But again, I love to drive the race cars so much that if they hadn't made me, I'd probably still be driving. Denny Hamlin described the same fear on Sirius XM NASCAR radio. My goal has always been to be able to win my final race, said Hamlin. I'd love to win my last race in the Cup Series. That's against the odds. That's going to be hard to do. But I at least want to be capable of it and know that I have a chance. My ego is very paranoid of the downtrend. And it is going to come. We don't know when it is. I just want to get ahead of it before it actually does, he added. The pressure from the other direction is real. Joe Gibbs Racing co-owner Heather Gibbs publicly called him a spring chicken and confirmed the organization is reconsidering. He had records to break, Heather Gibbs said. He had something to prove. He's doing it now. We joked, we were like, you're a spring chicken, you have so many years left. Now we're trying to think of how we can keep him longer. With Denny, he's been outstanding. She added, I think for Denny, he wants to leave on top, right? He doesn't want to leave where it was 1 year too long. Denny Hamlin's response has been the same both times. At the end of next year, I told him, just check with me in 6 months. Check with me in 6 months, Hamlin said. I don't want to leave them in flux. They've got a great driver in Brent Crews that's going to be ready more than likely by the end of next year. It'd be hard. If it was right now, it'd be really hard. But I find it hard to believe we're going to be at this level at this time next year. That is the succession plan. Brent Crews is 18 and competes as a rookie in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series for Joe Gibbs Racing. He is the driver the organization is building toward for the number 11 car, and Denny Hamlin's timeline was essentially designed around when Brent Crews would be ready. One complication no contract resolves. Denny Hamlin co-owns 2311 Racing alongside Michael Jordan while driving for Joe Gibbs Racing and competing against his own team for the championship. Heather Gibbs identified that tension directly. He's got his own team that he kind of wants to run, but it's hard when we dangle checkered flags in front of them, Gibbs said. Denny Hamlin has set the one condition that would test his resolve. If, and a big if, I'm at this point and this fast at this point next year, it would be a tough decision, he said. Because again, I'm planning for the downfall that I know will come. After what his body endured across 350 laps, that 6-month conversation may not go the way Joe Gibbs Racing hopes. The race also produced a breakthrough that should not be overshadowed. Ty Gibbs, the 23-year-old grandson of Joe Gibbs, won the Iowa Corn 350 powered by ethanol. The decisive moment came in the final pit cycle. Both Ty Gibbs and Christopher Bell pitted with 60 laps remaining, but Christopher Bell took 4 tires while Ty Gibbs took only 2 right-side tires and emerged ahead. Crew chief Tyler Reddick saw it as the only realistic path. We knew after practice the left sides weren't wearing much and they tended to refire okay, Allen said. So in terms of coming into the race, it was definitely a viable option. Ty Gibbs did not argue, I can't do anything about it, so you just run with it, Gibbs said. When leader Ross Chastain pitted on lap 330, Ty Gibbs took the top spot and held off a late charge from his teammate, winning by 0.253 seconds. It was his second victory of 2026 and the second of his career after his first at Bristol on April 12. He did it after falling to 28th when his jack fell too early during a tire change. You're kind of hosed after that deal, Gibbs said. So you've got to stay locked in and keep working. For Christopher Bell, it was the 7th runner-up finish of the season and his 4th in the last 5 weeks. He led 108 laps and remains winless in 2026 after 4 victories in 2025. This is what you call a bad second-place finish for sure, Bell said. I don't know what else to say. Ty did a really good job. He did a great job managing the race. I could tell that he was slipping and sliding around. Similar to 2 weeks ago with Corey Heim, he just didn't make a mistake. Pole sitter Ryan Blaney, winner of the inaugural 2024 race at the Oval, finished 3rd after leading a race-high 129 laps. Josh Berry was 4th, his best result of the season and only his 3rd top 10 finish. Denny Hamlin was 5th, Chase Briscoe 6th, Ross Chastain recovered to 7th, Aj Allmendinger 8th, defending race winner William Byron 9th, and Austin Dillon 10th. A year ago, Ty Gibbs held 16th in the standings. After Iowa, he is second, 7 points ahead of Ryan Blaney and 103 behind Denny Hamlin. He is ranked inside the top 4 in 4 of the last 6 races. "It was a really great day for us," Gibbs said. "Scored a lot of points in the last few races. I think we were a high stage point guy. To be able to finish it off today was awesome. I've been in contention at a lot of these, and it's been so much fun this year, so just keep working hard." This weekend also marked a significant rule change. NASCAR implemented a new stage break procedure beginning at Iowa Speedway, applying to all 3 national series for the rest of 2026. When a natural caution occurs with 10 or fewer laps remaining in Stage 1 or Stage 2. The stage is deemed complete at the time of caution, and that same caution serves as the scheduled break. When the field returns to the start-finish line under yellow, the leader receives the green and white checkered flag along with the yellow. The top 10 order at the time of caution is determined using all available resources, including scoring loops and video replay. The change traces to the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on July 26. At the end of Stage 1, Kyle Larson crashed and the field ran under yellow roughly 14 minutes, then got 1 lap of green before the stage ended, and another 14-minute break followed. With 3 laps left in Stage 2, Daniel Dye hit the wall. And the field raced under yellow for those laps and then paced through the entire scheduled break, consuming another 21 minutes. That totaled nearly 50 minutes of yellow flag running in a crown jewel event. NASCAR Chief Executive Officer Steve O'Donnell announced the adjustment on August 6, 2026. "We heard you. We want to make a change," O'Donnell said. So starting this weekend in Iowa, if a caution comes out 10 laps prior to a stage break, that is going to count as the stage break. No more back-to-back cautions, no more elongated caution laps, more green flag racing, more action for you, the fans. He also acknowledged its limits. "It's not going to be perfect," O'Donnell said. "We're going to learn from this and continue to innovate." One technical detail matters for close followers. If Stage 1 ends early, Stage 2 still concludes at its originally specified lap, meaning Stage 2 becomes longer in laps than scheduled. Denny Hamlin's response contained a notable turn. He has criticized NASCAR over caution lengths for months, including on his Actions Detrimental podcast after Martinsville, where he recalled a single car wreck in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series with minimal debris that still produced an extended yellow. When the change was announced, he posted a clip of Leonardo DiCaprio from The Wolf of Wall Street clapping. Yet when journalist Jordan Bianchi asked why it took so long, he defended the sanctioning body. "It's hard to think of everything. I mean, every rule change that you implement, it's like you never know what the cause and effect is," Hamlin said, per Front Stretch. He compared it to the shot clock in basketball, which keeps the game moving and expects a measurable benefit. "It's certainly going to be better for green flag racing, and it's only going to come into play a handful of times, but it certainly will be better when it does," Hamlin added in the same interview posted on the Front Stretch YouTube channel. He also framed it around viewers' good. "You guys have been hearing me say it for months now, that the cautions that happen right before stages are painful. For the viewer that has to sit through 30 to 40 minutes worth of caution to get a shootout, maybe 1 or 2 laps. So certainly if you want more green flag racing, this is going to give you that." So the picture leaving Iowa Speedway holds several moving parts. Denny Hamlin still leads by 103 points. Ty Gibbs is surging into second. Christopher Bell remains winless despite 7 runner-up finishes. Tyler Reddick has fallen into a slump with 4 finishes of 30th or worse in 6 races. And the brake failures that swept through Joe Gibbs Racing in 2311 racing came from setup decisions made while chasing playoff speed. The series now races every weekend through the crowning of a champion in November. Next is the Cookout 400 at Richmond Raceway on Saturday, August 15, 2026, with the green flag at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on the USA Network. The driver to watch is Austin Dillon, 27th in points but winner of the last 2 races there, having led 107 laps in the 2025 event. That leaves one question for the comments. Does Denny Hamlin actually walk away after 2027, or does winning a championship change everything?